should not be accompanied by justice, otherwise it will not last. While we all hope for peace, it shouldn't be peace at any cost, but peace based on principle, on justice. Reconciliation is defined as an act of self-mortification by dictionary.com. Justice is defined as rightfulness by the same source. Principle is defined as an accepted or professed rule of action or conduct. What do all of these quotes and definition mean? It means that forgiveness can only be achieved if right and agreed justice is performed. That justice has been and should remain to be the death penalty. Resolved that the death penalty should not be enforced in the United States. Oops. I believe so because the death penalty lowers crime rates. It is a more economic choice and is perfectly legal. My opponents must have some sort of wrong information about the death penalty, because Sarah talked about an eye for an eye, and Jenna talked about some sort of circle of murder. But in reality, there need to be certain circumstances to be sentenced to the death penalty. There need to be prior murder of more than one person. They need to have 2 prior felonies or a violent charge. There need to be conspiracy proven. That is not the same as it has always been, though. For example, in 1420 France, the king was at complete power. Anyone that upset the king would be sentenced to death without any question. They would be beheaded and tortured, but nowadays we are more civilized. Now we provide the prisoners with punishment as painlessly as possible with lethal injection or hanging. We don't intend to harm them in the inhumane ways that we were used in the past. We just want to give the prisoner and the people they have harmed justice and closure. Our judicial system is making huge steps to keep those who are sentenced to capital punishment as comfortable as possible. The death penalty should be allowed for many reasons, and one of those is because it is proven to keep homicide rates lower. It provokes fear into criminals as a result and results in a safer environment, which is exactly the opposite of what Sarah said. According to deathpenaltyinfo.org in 2007, there is a murder rate of 4.1 in states with the death penalty, while there is a 5.83 in states without. What does the murder rate mean? It means that the number of intentional homicides out of 100,000 people. So if we apply this information, having the death penalty will save nearly 2 people in every 100,000. New York City has a population of 8,363,710, reported by the United States Census Bureau, and it also is a state that doesn't have the death penalty. New York State decides to use the death penalty, 166 people will be estimated to be saved from homicide. 166 fathers, sons, mothers, brothers, and sisters, all saved, just because of allowing the death penalty. Few people are actually sick enough to kill in the terms for the death penalty, so killing those few is worth saving the extra 166. There's another reason that I think we should keep the death penalty. That is because it is more economic choice. My point is not to kill off everyone that goes into prison just to make room for the next guy. That would be almost as inhumane as my opponent's attempt to define the death penalty as. I say this because keeping men in prison is remarkably expensive. It costs $18,980 a year to feed, clothe, house, educate, and provide medical services for an inmate at any state facility. Exactly 37 people were executed by the death penalty in 2008. Keep all of those people in state prison instead of performing the death penalty costs $702,260. That is only if they stay in prison for a year. Someone is charged with the death penalty, they won't just stay there for 1 year. They'll stay there for the rest of their life. If they stay there for just 25 years, it would cost $17,556,500. You also have to put into perspective that those numbers were only calculated from people sentenced in 2008. What about those in 2007? That would be nearly double the cost, and same thing for the year before that. There's a lot of money that the federal government will be paying each year. With a national debt of over $12 trillion, is it really worth it? The death penalty should not be abolished. It should be expanded. We should keep its standards, its rules, and all its requirements. Just apply it to all 50 states. If you are sentenced to death, unfortunately your life is going to be taken for your actions. I propose one difference, though. We should allow people to decide whatever way of death they would like, within reason. Recently in Utah, a man by the name of Ronnie Lee Gardner was convicted for murdering an attorney. There are 2 choices to perform the death penalty in the state of Utah. That is lethal injection, the most common choice, or firing squad. Mr. Gardner chose firing squad. That right should be enforced in all 50 states. It's your life. And if you're on death row, it's the only thing you have left. you shouldn't be limited to only 2 choices. Taking a guilty person's life as a punishment is not inhumane. It's something that has been done for years and years. That practice should be continued and broadened. Capital punishment is not cruel and unusual. It is necessary. It is justice.